Good afternoon and welcome everybody. Thank you for stopping by. I'm John and let me ask you, have you ever been to a garage sale, thrift store, or a Goodwill or something similar and saw a piece of art, a painting that just made you go, ugh. But then you hear a story months later, maybe not necessarily about that piece, but perhaps another piece that in your own heart, you would have just looked at it and also said, I am not buying that. And only to find out in the news that that piece wound up later being worth tens of thousands of dollars or up to ridiculous millions of dollars. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is I read an article today on a David Bowie piece, and that piece, according to Fox News, was bought at a Canadian thrift store, and the guy just happened to flip it over and see David Bowie's signature on the back because, of course, he did. Got it appraised, and it looks like this particular painting is going to go for up to tens of thousands of dollars. And if you feel like that guy got lucky, wait until you hear about these next few pieces I'm going to talk about that I found some research on. It is absolutely mind-blowing, and let me just say, it'll change how you look at thrift stores and yard sales moving forward. This next piece always makes me laugh when I heard it, because I heard it on a podcast the other day, and it's this guy named Rick, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name because I will butcher it, but he went out to some garage sales looking for old barber chairs, cutting hair, and he saw this box, well, two boxes of glass negatives, and he holds them up and he says, in his words, "Hey, that's Yosemite." And I'm assuming he said it with a southern accent. I could totally be making up Yosemite. Anyways, so he puts the glass cases back, and the owner of these boxes only wanted $70 for these two boxes of glass negatives, and they bartered the price down, and ultimately Rick paid $45 for the negatives. He loads them up into his car, takes them home, and he does what everybody does with basically garbage you buy, and just shoves it under a pool table. In my case, it would have been under like a desk table, but he shoved his under a pool table to where they sat for 2 years before he really thought that maybe he was onto something here. And once he realized that they could be pretty famous and valuable, he stuck them in a bank vault. And it was learned that the negatives were and proven to be Ansel Adams originals. And if you don't know who Ansel Adams is, he is known as the father of American photography. He did all those famous black and white photos of nature, and the estimated value that he got when he purchased the $45 worth of glass negatives, now valued $200 million. Yeah, the man paid $45 and just left them sitting for 2 years. And what's really cool about this is everyone thought those negatives had disappeared. They thought they were destroyed in a fire at one of Ansel Adams' studios, and no one really knows how they went from being in a fire to a garage sale in California to this man being Rick paying $45 and now having $200 million. And if you think finding a David Bowie piece at a Canadian thrift store or Ansel Adams photos found at a garage sale is interesting, this next one comes from England, where a brother and sister, after their mom and dad passed away, these two siblings were going through the house, cleaning it out, and they go into the attic, and they stumble across a vase. It's an 18th century Chinese porcelain vase that sold at auction for, get it now, $69.3 million. That is one hell of an inheritance. In this vase, said to have been made around the year 1740 and dates back to the royal court of Qianlong, the fifth emperor of the Qing Dynasty. I would love to hear the story. No one really knows how it went from the royal family traversing the world and wound up in an attic in England to be sold for $69.3 million. I know my mom doesn't have anything like that lying around. Oh my goodness. But hey, Mom, you might want to visit a Goodwill. While I do jest at my mom going to Goodwill and looking for art pieces and just saying, yep, I'll take that piece of crap. Just know that more than likely when you do go to a Goodwill, a thrift store, a garage sale, that art actually is a piece of crap. And I say that lightly because I'm pretty sure that whomever it was poured their heart into that 35-cent piece at Goodwill or that $1 piece at Martha's garage sale. It's going to be very, very rare that you're going to visit old Martha and look at her and say, hey, I know you're selling this piece for $1, but here's a nickel. And then you take it to get it appraised, and all of a sudden that nickel is now worth $15 million. And comment down below. I'd really, really be interested in hearing this. If you would actually go back to the person from where you bought that piece of art, and let's say like the Ansel guy who got $200 million, would you float them $1 million? I think I would. I really do believe I would, unless of course the person was like a complete a-hole, a real tool, if you will. Just, yeah, in that situation, it's just like, well, thanks for the $200 million, pal. But otherwise, yeah, I would feel so guilty if I paid $45, got $200 million, and didn't somehow give the guy or lady something for, for their troubles, for having housed themselves the millions of dollars, and I just happen to be lucky enough and fortunate enough and have the wherewithal to get all this information and art appraised. Anyways, thank you for stopping by. I hope you have a great day. Until the next time, take care.